You've also had disagreements with the US government, and in fact with the
Not
government.
me personally.
Twitter.
Let me just.
Are you about to separate from Twitter
In case
now?
the IRS is in the room, I am totally fine with everything personally that we want to do. I am one happy taxpayer. The company, on the other hand, no issues.
So when New York wanted when New York wanted the names for protesters in Occupy Wall Street, when the Justice Department wanted to know who was supporting WikiLeaks, what was Twitter's response?
Well, I think we've pushed back on those things, and we'll continue to push back on those things. When we don't think we have received a valid legal request, we will push back on those. And in fact, in reaction to some legal requests, we've gone out of our way, and in the WikiLeaks case, spent a great deal of our own money to protect our users' rights to privacy. The WikiLeaks case was only about our ability to inform those users that their information was being requested so that they could fight that request for the information if they so chose. And I think that
so it isn't that you're saying you can't have the information, you're saying you can't have it without our telling the user.
I mean, all we were asking in that case was we don't think we should have to give this to you without informing these people that they should have the ability to protest handing over their information. And several of them did protest the handing over of their information, and were able to then have that out in the open, that protest and that court fight. I think that, you know, and keep in mind, in different countries, there are some of these laws that are even more a little bit Kafkaesque around things like there are injunctions, for example, in countries that are based on old media laws and the injunctions might say, be distributed to several major media outlets and say things like, not only are you not permitted to go on air and say that, you know, there's news that this person may have engaged in this kind of behavior, but you are also not allowed to go on air and say there is an injunction preventing you from saying that, right? Mm-hmm. These things called super injunctions, and they're incredibly Kafkaesque, and in a world where anybody can now broadcast whatever they think, the fascinating thing about things like super injunctions is they encourage, of course, people to go to platforms like Twitter and say, I'm not allowed to say XYZ, hashtag super injunction, right? And so, because the cost to them of you're not going to go punish John Q. Public for saying this thing that you would have punished some major media company for. So I think that the media law in many countries will have to transform. It's against the law in Turkey to say certain things about the founder of the country, Ataturk. Well, you know, it turns out that if you give everybody in the country this platform to say whatever they want, some of them want to say the things that you're not supposed to say about Ataturk. And I think that, again, across the world, it will be interesting to see the way that the speech laws change or don't over time. Mm-hmm.